Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another Atlanta United Career Mode Series video here. Just to start off the video, I completely forgot to press the record button whenever I started this game, so the complete game just did not get recorded, but by the end of it, I ended up just pressing record at the end just so that I could show you guys the highlights of the game. We ended up completely demolishing in this game, and Tito Villalba managed to get a hat trick, and I believe so did Joseph Martinez, but you guys will see the stats coming up right here. FC Dallas just really couldn't handle the way that we were playing, and it ended up working out really well. So Tito, I believe, got 2 assists, and Joseph Martinez got 3 goals along with Tito, I believe is how the game went, but like I said, it'll pop up right here for you. I just wanted to show you guys, the little bit of highlights that they put at the end of the game so that you guys could see something from this game as we kind of move forward in this series. So it'll be a little bit shorter of an episode, obviously, because we do end up not playing this game, and I only play 2 games after this, but we are getting closer to the end of the season here. I believe we only have a couple episodes left before the end of the season, so we'll have the US Open Cup final in the next episode. We're going to play Orlando City once more in this episode at the end, so definitely make sure you stay tuned for that. It's a little bit closer of a game than it has been in the past, but we're definitely trying to grab goals any way as we can. But what I did want to talk about this episode is this man Tito. He's doing incredibly well for me. He's actually starting to pick up a lot of goals here at the end of the season. Although, Joseph Martinez did grab himself goals as well. And sorry, it was 2 goals for Joseph Martinez and 1 for Miguel Almiron, I believe. But while those 2 are kind of slowing down and scoring a little bit, Tito is picking up the pace and scoring goals as well. And I believe it's in this episode, if not, it may be the next one. He actually managed to get himself into 3rd place in the Golden Boot race. Not anywhere close enough that the points are actually going to end up evening out for Tito to catch up with Miggy and Joseph Martinez, but definitely making pace regardless. And Joseph Martinez and Tito Villalba definitely had the best game possible in that series. So moving on into the actual episode here, we're going to go up against New England. And this is a game that, we're getting near the kind of the back end of that craziness in August, so the players aren't fully fit still, and I was kind of trying to think what players I wanted to bring into this game, what players I kind of wanted to give a little bit of rest to, because New England not doing very well in this career mode. So I could play a little bit of a weaker lineup, but I decided, let's just go ahead and play basically a full strength squad against them and just see how it goes, and maybe we'll rest some players against Orlando, who we've been doing pretty well against. So going into this game, definitely just trying to keep up the pace, try to keep up the form, and make sure we can get as many players in form as we can going into the playoffs. The better form they're in, the better obviously they're going to end up playing. Also in this game, or in this episode, you guys are going to see a couple players make their debut, and I just wanted to say that Palmer Brown and Jameson will not have their correct numbers whenever you see them, but it will be corrected, I believe, in the next episode. So Jameson will have his number 38, and Palmer Brown will get off of the number 17, because we obviously want to keep that number for the fans and not give them to a player. So other than that, we do have some options for some player numbers to be switched around. So if you guys have any suggestions on what player should take over that 16 number, I'm gonna currently give that to Juan Torres, the young player that we brought in, that's going to be playing CDM. I thought it was a little bit fitting. And the number 9 is actually going to go to Brandon Vasquez to replace Kenwin Jones. I thought it was a little bit more fitting, for him to lose the number 1 in front of 19 and drop him down to 9. So that opens up the number 19 as well, though. So if you guys have any suggestions there, let me know. Maybe it'll be a player that we sign in the next window. But we do end up starting off the scoring with Miguel Almiron here in the 7th minute of the game. He manages to grab himself a goal, and for whatever reason in this entire episode, I was using the Antoine Griezmann celebration far too often, and I didn't even really know how I was doing it. I think I ended up figuring it out closer to the end of the episode, but for a while there, no matter what combination I was just trying to do, because I haven't actually looked up the celebrations, I was just doing like the Antoine Griezmann one like every time, but it was a little entertaining. We're definitely trying to mix up the celebrations here and not do the same one all the time. But that was Miguel Almiron's 33rd goal in this series, so obviously off to an incredible start in this career mode in his first season, doing super well for us. Definitely going to be super hard to hold on to him going into next season. Like I said, I still definitely want to try to bring in the next season, because it's still going to be interesting to see, you know, what players we keep, what players we bring in, and how well the new players do in a whole season. So here we actually end up conceding a goal to New England, and it was a little bit of a scrappy goal, ball all over the place. Kamara is actually able to get on the end of it at the end of the day and just does a nice little volley finesse shot and ends up getting past Brad Guzan. The goal was super frustrating to concede, I'm not going to lie. It was, you know, scrappy. It was all over the place. My players felt like they weren't passing correctly, and that just set the tone for the rest of this game. And you guys are going to see the absolute demolition of Atlanta United in this first half. New England absolutely ripped me apart, and I could not figure out how to pass. I couldn't figure out how to do anything correctly, and Kamara was just doing incredible. Their positioning was great, and I just couldn't figure it out, and I have not lost to a team this badly in this game. I don't know what it is since the update in FIFA, but I don't know if it's scripting. I don't know if, you know, it's just balancing issues or what happened, but it may have also been because I started Alec Khan in this episode, because he doesn't do that well. He's done decently well for us in the past, and he obviously wanted more game time, so I decided to throw him in for this game. But in the first half, we conceded 5 goals and have only scored 1. Obviously, that opener from Miguel Almiron. So it was a little bit of a weird feeling. You know, I don't concede goals like this, but we end up conceding 5 in that first half, and before the end of the first half, we're just trying to grab a goal any way we can, just try to somewhat give us a little bit of hope to getting back in this game. At this point, I just kind of accepted we had lost it, but I didn't want the goal difference to get ruined, because we have such a high goal difference. I want that to stay as high as possible. We weren't able to get that ball going, and we do end up going into the second half 5-1 down. So 6 goals in the first half. Surely the second half is going to be better, right? No. Right off a kickoff in the 48th minute, we concede again, and it's 6-1 in this game. So my idea of getting the goal difference a little bit better was not doing well. But here in the 50th minute, we have a little bit of cross in, and luckily Tito just kind of blocks off the keeper, which arguably might kind of be weird good positioning. It was kind of the defender's fault for being so far back, but he ends up getting the ball right in front of the keeper and grabbing himself a goal. So again, Tito doing incredibly well right now, grabs us a second goal. Here you're going to see Andrew Carlton grab the 3rd goal in the 65th minute, and things were starting to roll a little bit, and I had a little bit of hope. You know, maybe if I can't win the game, maybe I can at least get it close, and maybe I can attempt to get a draw here. But I did bring on Andrew Carlton for Yamil Assad, I believe, at this point, and he was doing pretty well for us. He was getting in the right positions. Miguel Almiron was getting in the right positions as well. I think at this point I had moved him to center mid instead of his left forward position, but I was kind of moving him back and forth because I couldn't figure out where I wanted to put him. Here in the 80th minute, Carlton on the ball again, just kind of looking for the right pass, gets it out to Joseph Martinez, slots it home for the 4th goal for us in this game and the 10th goal overall in the game. So, you know, the second half was just a lot different. It felt a lot more like we have been playing, where teams, you know, can't really keep up with our formation. They can't keep up with the way that we play, and the runs were being made to pull defenders out of place, and it was feeling a lot better than it was in the first half. So we were just going to try to keep that going. Here off the kickoff, we're just trying to keep the pressure up. They end up having a couple bad passes here, and they're just trying to spread us out and hold the ball any way they can. But Brandon Vasquez on the pitch at this point manages to grab the ball, get it to Tito Villalba. He gets it out to Miguel Almiron, and we grab another goal in this game and make it 5-6 in the 84th minute. And I'm thinking now, maybe in 7 minutes I can grab 1 or 2 more goals and somehow ink out the craziest victory ever that I have ever had in FIFA. I don't think I've ever made this sort of comeback. This was definitely the FIFA to do it in if you're ever going to do it in a FIFA, because I think this is such a open game. You can just kind of do whatever. But it ended up being 5-6 going into the 90th minute, and they had one more attack here, and I was thinking, okay, well, I did all this and we're going to end up losing by 2 anyways, but we come out with a very good tackle from Zimmerman, and we managed to only lose by 1 goal. So even though we did drop all 3 points in this game and at home, which was super disappointing, we did end up bringing it back and made the game pretty exciting for an 11-goal game. So a lot going on. As you see, just some of these goals were just a little too crazy for me to deal with. But that first half, I could not figure out how to pass. It felt like my controller was broken. Anywhere I was pointing, it was pointing in the wrong direction. But going into the 3rd game of this episode, 3rd home game in a row, we're going to be playing against Orlando City. Here, like I said, I kind of wanted to switch up the lineup a little bit, especially after that last game. I was kind of frustrated with some of the players in defense, so we're going to bring on Anton Walks. Robinson's looking a little bit tired too. Couldn't really decide what I wanted to do there, but we are going to let Palmer Brown actually start for his first game. So just looking at the rest of the lineup, I couldn't really decide what I wanted to do. Martinez was a little bit tired. Almiron was a little bit tired. Tito was a little bit tired. So it was kind of like, I don't know what players I wanted to bring in. I was thinking about bringing in Brandon Vasquez, end up looking at him for Tito v. Alba, and then we're actually going to give Jameson a run as well. So, you know, just trying to kind of give players a little bit more of a chance to play here in the second half of the season. As we get closer to playoffs, definitely want to make sure nobody ends up getting injured that we need in the squad. So we need to start rotating that a little bit more. Even though we are out of the kind of crazy part of the season, we're still, you know, getting to the close nitty-gritty side of things. And we want to make sure that players aren't exhausted going into the end of the season, the run-in. So the rest of the squad ends up staying the same. Gressel on the right. We end up bringing Garza on the left for Yamil, who was very tired. But Garza does the job. He gets forward really well, so I knew that positioning was going to work out. LGP, the only player in defense that ends up keeping his place in the squad. And it's going to take me a little bit of a trust to put Alec back in the squad, but I think he'll end up making his appearance for the U.S. Open Cup. So we'll see how that goes. But going into this game, obviously after that, we just kind of want to make sure we don't concede that amount of goals anymore. Other than that, it's not really that worrisome because we have been doing really well and we are playing at home. So Orlando doesn't worry me too much. We definitely want to make sure we shut down Kaká in this game and make sure he doesn't score his 2 or 3 goals like he did in the last game, but also making sure that we shut down Dom Dwyer. So here in the 7th minute, we end up pulling Palmer Brown out of position, or actually, sorry, that wasn't Palmer Brown. He ended up staying in position, but ended up the middle of the defense just kind of opened up. Anton was in the wrong spot at the wrong time, and we end up conceding the goal. So we go down 1-0 early on in this game, and at this point I'm kind of stressing out. I'm like, is this going to happen again? But Kellen Acosta gets the ball out to Miguel Almiron, who gets it to Greg Garza, and before this point we had actually had a couple opportunities with Greg Garza. He was getting himself into really good positions but kept missing his shot on target. So it was really good to finally get a goal with him. I was glad that we got a goal with him because he was doing so well in this game for the first 15 minutes. And the rest of the first half really didn't have much going on. But again, Greg Garza gets himself into a good position, makes a good run off of the shoulder of Miguel Almiron, just kind of trying to work the ball any way he can. And a couple good passes end up going, but Miggy ends up putting it wide. So, you know, the first half a little bit frustrating. Definitely thought we had some more chances that we could have capitalized on, but I wasn't feeling all that comfortable with the team today. That first game obviously did really well, but I didn't record it. But you guys saw, you know, the 6-1 victory. And then, you know, I made the comeback in the second half. So things were connecting a little bit here in the second half. But again, not many great chances here in the 82nd minute. Just kind of passing the ball around, ended up making a wayward pass, but we end up winning it back right in our half. So Brandon Vasquez trying to work the ball around and gets it out to Julian Gressel, who gets it to Tito Villalba, and the Lion Slayer scores again and actually manages to win us the game. So super good feeling here, one, because Tito is on incredible form and scoring goals for fun, again getting himself into that top 3 goal scorers, but also because, you know, he does so well against Orlando every time. It felt good for that to end up happening again in this game. But here you see Jameson is wearing the number 9 in this episode, but that will change to 38 in the next one, and Brandon Vasquez will end up taking over in the number 9. I thought about waiting until the next season to change numbers, but just to kind of work some numbers around the way I wanted to. I ended up just going ahead and switching his number. It's not too realistic. It might actually end up increasing our shirt sales, which we do need to kind of increase a little bit. So maybe that ends up helping us out. So here in the 90th minute, we have one more opportunity to grab a goal. Tito on the ball, just kind of, again, trying to work the ball around. Ended up passing not where I wanted to 2 times in a row, and we end up losing the ball. So the game does end 2-1. A little disappointing not to get another really big victory against Orlando, but 3 points is 3 points, so that's 6 points from this episode. Disappointing second game, but almost made that comeback, and I think saved a lot of the morale for the players in this team. So again, disappointing to only get 6 points from the episode, but going into the playoffs, we're looking good. We're looking resilient. Even if we are going down, we're managing to come back and make a game out of it. I doubt we'll end up losing a game like we did against New England, but that is going to be the end of this episode. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And until the next one, I will see you guys later.